Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Dane, your host of the Rock and Metal Guardian. Hope you're doing great wherever you may find yourselves. Blessings to all of you wonderful people out there. Today I'm doing another ranking the albums video. Today I'm specifically just focusing on my top favorite UFO albums of all time. I'm not going to rank the entire discography because there's much in that discography I just don't like whatsoever. So make of that what you will. And all right, so 9 total here to rank, and at the bottom of the pile, this is going to be shocking to some of you, perhaps not, is the Misdemeanor album. And essentially what happens if you're a UFO fan, you know that the band breaks up. They're the traditional lineup. Schenker's out, going solo, doing his own thing. And so, again, the band breaks up, but then, like so many bands, they have a passion for recording and doing music. It's in their blood, right? It's who they are. They have to do it. They can't. Us teachers, we want to teach as long as we can, right? That kind of thing. So athletes, same thing. So it's in his blood. Phil Mogg puts a band together. He regroups and he brings back Paul Raymond, who was in the band before. He recruits Paul Gray from The Damned and from other bands as well. He was in, Tommy McClendon's the lead guitarist here, kind of a no-name really, and then Jim Simpson on drums to replace Andy Parker. Hair metal to the core, really here, going with the flow, what's going on at the time in the 80s. This is the 2009 release with bonus tracks. You get This Time, One Heart, Night Run, The Only Ones, Mean Streets, Name of Love, Blue, Dream the Dream, Heaven's Gate, and Reckless. You have some bonus tracks, which I won't talk about. But right off the bat from the song titles, it's the same old you expect, in a good way, from the band, with talking about songs that deal with, coming from the streets and growing up and love, right, and dreaming and all that. So things from the heart, right, and other things as well. Rebellion, like Reckless, that's part of the band since pretty much the Phenomenal album, give or take. And so the look of the band, if you can see, the teased hair has the hair metal thing. I'm not sure if it was around this time, but I remember reading an article where either Pete Way or Phil Mogg said, well, it couldn't have been Pete Way if it's this era, but there is an article where Pete Way or Phil Mogg talks about how at some point they would go into the women's section of the clothing store and buy women's clothing for their stage aura or presence at some point in the band. Maybe it was this too, maybe it wasn't, I'm not sure. The tight pants, the spandex and all that is what I mean. So again, this is a hair metal album, but it works for the most part. I like what I'm hearing. These songs could easily are easily transferable into the UFO type tone, mood, and song that we know and love from the Schenker and Paul Tonka Chapman era. And it's cool that this exists. I have this because I like much of what's here. This is better than much of the hair metal of the day in many ways. I know that's blasphemous, but to me it is. To me, what's on here is better than anything after Rat's EP and debut. I know that's blasphemous, but that's how I feel. I can't be dishonest. And in addition, it's kind of a shame that they didn't take these songs and make them into, with the new lineup, make them into the sound that we know and love from UFO. But it is what it is, but I have to count it because I do listen to this from time to time, and I like what I'm hearing. Now, the Ain't Misbehaving EP that comes after this is just dreadful. All right, so coming at number 8 now is Mechanics. In the band at the time, you have Paul Tonka Chapman on this album, Neil Carter on keys, rhythm guitar, perhaps other things. I'll talk about that more for a different album. So Paul Tonka Chapman and Neil Carter are both the guitarists here, but Neil Carter doing other things here. Side 1 is weaker than side 2. You get side 1, you have the Rider and Something Else, Back Into My Life, You'll Get Love, and Doing It All For You. typical song titles you would expect from UNO, again, dealing with love and other things, right? Like inspiration, like the writer, that kind of thing. But it's really side 2 that is the wonderful part of this album. A lot of albums out there where side 1 is so much better than side 2, but also the reverse. This is the reverse. Side 2 is the stronger section here. We Belong to the Night, right? Just like so many songs, UFO deals with the streets and the night time, right? And the connection between the two often. Let It Rain, a hit off the album. Terry, kind of a fan favorite or cult favorite among us UFO fans. Feel It, I think, is an underrated gem. And Dreaming, very part and parcel for what it means to be UFO. Dream the Dream on here, so keeping in, this is keeping in theme with the concept of dealing with songs that deal with dreaming or having dreams. This is not a great album, but a very strong side 2, if you will. And some of the songs on side 1 are pretty good or good, but not wonderful. Nothing stellar on side 1. All right. Mechanics. Number 8. All right, number 7. Got to cover up a little bit here. Making Contact. This is much better than Mechanics, if you ask me. This comes after Mechanics. And on here you have Paul Tonka Chapman and Neil Carter as well. And yes, I misspoke, or what I wanted to add for the Mechanics album, Neil Carter not only plays guitar and keys, but he plays saxophone and has orchestral arrangements. All right. So what I like about this album is right off the bat, you have 2 wonderful songs in Blinded by a Lie and Diesel in the Dust, which are great hard rocking tunes, which would fit on Obsession and even, dare I dare to say, Lights Out. They're that good. A Fool for Love, a cool love song, typical of UFO. You and Me's a nice rocker, not a great song. When It's Time to Rock, great, another rocker there. See, really strong side 1 here. Then side 2, the opposite of this album, although side 2 is better than the side 1 here, but it's weak compared to side 1 here. You get The Way the Wind Blows, perhaps the best song on side 2. Call My Name is okay. All Over You is pretty cool. No Getaway is a very cool song. It's a nice, well, it's a good song. It's not a great song. And then Push This Love, I think, is fabulous. So yeah, coming in at number 7 is Making Contact. All right. Number 6. Yes, number 6, No Place to Run, produced by Beatles' own George Martin. And this album has been panned by critics and fans alike. I like it quite a bit. I think Alpha Centauri, the intro to, it's an intro to Letting Go. I count that as one song, really. Kind of doing the Black Sabbath thing with that. I think that's a fabulous song. This is one of my favorite songs by the band. Top 10 easily. Then you get the cover song Mystery Train, which I think is a cover song of Elvis, or Elvis did it as a cover, so it's a cover of a cover kind of thing. But it's fabulous. It's hard rock in here. It's great. This Fire Burns Tonight. Typical UFO fare, dealing with, passion and lust and love. Gone the Night. There's that word again, night, which pops up in so many UFO songs, as does the word love. Young Blood, perhaps the weakest song on the album. It's an okay song. Not a meh song, but a good song. It's an okay, just above average song is what I mean. No Place to Run, the title track. My second favorite song on this album after Letting Go. Take It or Leave It. I could take it or leave it, to be honest with you. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I'm like, Money's kind of the same way. There's times when I love it, there's times when I'm like, yeah, it's all right. But Any Day is a great closer. It's a hard rockin' heavy tune from the band. Phil Mogg's phrasing and the whole band is just on fire. It's fabulous. What a great way to end an album. Pretty cool album, if you ask me. I have the t-shirt for this album cover. All right, so that was number 6. So number 5, The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent. I still have no idea what's going on with this album cover. And this album cover is a little darker than the one you can see on Wikipedia. It's brighter, and you can actually see Phil Mogg's face, and it looks like he's pulling a guy by the hair and about to hit him against a window, and it seems to be like a camera or some kind of weapon that he's pushing him with. Like he's some kind of assassin who interrupted or he's the good guy interrupting an assassin about to shoot someone out the window. It's weird as all hell. Anyway, so Change, and Long Gone. Let me repeat that. Chains, and Long Gone. Long Gone is just, wow, amazing. Those two songs you can make a greatest hits out of this album and this album and the other two that I showed you, Mechanics and Making Contact, and you would have a stellar album because of songs like Diesel on the Dust and others. But Chains, and Long Gone are amazing. What a great 1-2 punch to start off the album. The title track, The Wild, the Willing, and the Innocent. At first I didn't like the song, but it grew on me. It didn't take long, really. It's Killing Me, I think, is dynamite. Making Moves, a little lackluster, but it's okay. Lonely Heart, I think, is a great love song. Couldn't Get It Right, I think, is fabulous. The passion and the overall phrasing from Phil here is dynamite. I think he's a bit of an underrated vocalist, if you ask me, and his cadences and his phrasing and his overall delivery on songs like Couldn't Get It Right are just dynamite. It emphasizes that perhaps it's from the heart, or he's sympathizing with someone else, or it's a biographical. Make of that what you will, but I think it's great. And then Professional Violence, I think, is a bit of an underrated gem. There's some saxophone on here because Neil Carter, because they were, and Paul Tonka Chapman's on here as well. There's some saxophone here because this is where the band began to be influenced by Bruce Springsteen. Make of that what you will. Not a big Bruce Springsteen fan. It's okay. I kind of wish they re-release it without the saxophone. Same thing with the other album, but it is what it is. I really like this album regardless. So coming in at, that was, sorry, I lost my place again, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Coming in at number 4. Oh, I misspoke. I have 10 here, I apologize. So number 10, number 9, number 8, 7, 6, beg your pardon. All right, number 5, Obsession. Only You Can Rock Me, great hard rockin' tune. Pack It Up and Go, perhaps even more rockin' and heavier than Only You Can Rock Me. Again, like the previous album, right out the gate, 1-2 punch. Arbory Hills, not a song I care all that much for, but then you get Ain't No Baby and Looking Out for Number 1, which I think are fabulous. Of course, she got the hit off the album, or later becomes a cult hit, Hot and Ready, and then the wonderful love song Cherry, which most UFO fans will gravitate towards. You Don't Fool Me, I think, is a bit underrated. Looking Out for Number 1, Reprise, One More for the Rodeo. Great way to end the album with those two songs, I think. Many people have argued that this is their favorite album. There are days when this is. It's not most of the time. Interesting album cover with Phil Mogg and Andy Way having their eyes, nose, and mouth covered with what looks like ball bearings. And then, of course, Michael in the middle. And then the other two band members aren't on the album. Or are they on the back? Let's see. Yeah, they're on the back here. See. Oops, here. All right. So I think this is a fabulous album. Almost near perfect, if you ask me. Near perfect, not perfect. All right, so that was number 5. Coming in at number 4, No Heavy Petting, another horrible hypnosis album cover. Natural Thing, I'm a Loser, Can You Roller, back to back to back, 3 fabulous songs. And then you get the wonderful ballad type song in Belladonna. I think it's underrated classic. Reasons Love, it's an okay song. I think Highway Lady is Boy, the print here is small. Yeah, I think Highway Lady is fabulous, actually. On with the Action, I think, is fabulous as well. Well, Fool in Love, pretty cool song. It's, typical rock and roll fare, talking about, being made a fool by love or what have you, The opposite would be Nobody's Fool, Cinderella, that kind of thing. You have both of these in the rock and roll landscape. And then you get the sometimes neglected Martian landscape, which I guess is a throwback, at least title-wise, a throwback to the first two albums. So yeah, this is Moog, Parker Way, Schenker, and you have Danny Peronell on keyboards and vocals, the only album he appears on in the discography, if I stand corrected. Not sure what's going on with the tubes on the back connected to the monkey, but I think this is an album that needs more love, including from myself. The keyboards are a little tinny at times, but there's some great tunes here, especially those first three. Yeah, and Highway Lady. I'm sorry, On With The Action. Those five are great. All right, so number 4. Number 3. It's got to be Lights Out, folks. Too Hot to Handle. Perhaps one of their best songs of all time. Typical UFO fare, hard rockin' tune. Then you get Just Another, something that rhymes with cyanide. Okay song, not a great song. Then everything else on here is stellar. Try Me, a cult classic among us UFO fans. Lights Out, great title track, hard rockin' tune. Getting Ready, maybe not lyrically or not song-wise with respect to the music-wise, but lyrically very similar to, I believe, one of the reasons it makes the band great. Getting Ready, similar to, I guess not lyrically or musically, but it's hard to say pinpoint, but kind of like the vibe and tone of Letting Go in a way. So that's what makes it a cool song. Alone Again, or the cover song that the Damned also did, perhaps inspired because, at one point in the band you had a member of the Damned. I forget who did it first as a cover, them or the Damned. Electric Phase, which is it's not quirky, it's weird sounding. It doesn't seem like it should be a UFO song, and yet it works. It's odd, especially as it's getting closer to the final song. Kind of like that weird part at the end of Do You Love Me by Kiss on Destroyer, has the vocals that are distorted in some way towards the end. And then you get the wonderful Love to Love, just goose pimples, hair standing on end. The best song on the album, if you ask me, the opening keys, and then builds up. It's a Light and Shade song, and then Phil delivers the goods vocally, singing from the heart and so passionate about the subject matter. Just fabulous. Boy, I listened to it last night. This album, great album. Number 3. Number 2, these two flip all the time, but for right now, Force It is number 2. The pun, faucet, right? Get it? Almost a Greatest Hits album. Let It Roll, Shoot Shoot. 2 back-to-back great hard rockin' tunes. Then you get the wonderful ballad High Flyer, which gives me goosebumps. Love Lost Love, an underrated gem. Out on the Street, here we go, talking about the mean streets and shooting from the hip and rebellion and all that. Great song. And then you get the wonderful, my favorite song on this album, Mother Mary. Mother Mary, could you try to, something about a wild colonial boy or something like that. It's great. It's heavy. It's got that crunch. Dun dun, dun. It's just great. All right, Too Much of Nothing, I think, is an underrated classic. Dance Your Life Away, perhaps my least favorite. It is the least favorite song on my album. Tell me what you think. It's an okay song. This Kid's, including Between the Walls, I think is pretty cool, pretty damn cool, underrated gem. And then a song on the bonus tracks that's not on the regular album, A Million Miles, I think is great. A previously unreleased studio track. Should have released it to make it 10 songs, but yeah, what a great album. In Faucet, or Force It. All right, finally, my favorite UFO album, Phenomenon. Hard to say. This Phenomenon album is phenomenal, if you ask me. Some people say the album doesn't get going until Doctor Doctor. I disagree. I love Oh My. I think it's a great light rockin' mid-tempo tune. Then you get the so sung with passion. There's Phil again with his passionate delivery as always. Crystal light, shining bright down on me. Man, what great lyrics. What a great moving song with the hair standing on end again. And then a song that inspired Def Leppard and Iron Maiden, so many. Doctor Doctor, great guitar and bass tone and vocals from them, and the drums. Everybody here is amazing. The 4-piece that it is. And then the next two songs, arguably from what I've read, from Michael and from what Michael Schenker said, is that these songs began in embryo because he created solos that the band created a song around. And I'm talking about Space Child and Rock Bottom. Space Child's mostly an instrumental. You get some lyrics at the beginning, and then the instrumental. I have to listen to this now that I'm talking about this when this video is finished recording. It's that good, Space Child. And then Rock Bottom with the guitar solo that I've talked about so many times. But it's just the lyrics are fabulous with the just one more kiss on your clay cold lips. I think he says, honestly, I'll never know. And then you get the guitar comes in, so bluesy and heavy. And then where do we go? Where do we go from here? And then it kicks in. And then there's like different gears, I've said before, that Schenker has here. It's like he gets in the third gear in a solo. It's getting really fast and furious. And then just when you think it can't get any heavier, it shifts and it gets heavier. Just when you think that can't get it gets, and then it keeps it. There's like 6, 7 different gears in this guitar solo. And the riff, is great. So great it made the episode 3 of the TV show Supernatural. It's fabulous. Too Young to Know, dealing with, someone you can't have, right? Great song though. Time on My Hands, a slow, sad song, very cathartic. Sitting at the bar with a sailor man or sailor boy. It's such a sad song, but it's so amazing. And then you get the Willie Dixon cover, Built for Comfort, which is not about a car. It's about something else. It's very Freudian. Yes, it's a great song. Very similar, but not the same as Trampled Underfoot by Led Zeppelin, also about a car, but not about a car. Lipstick Traces, the instrumental, great, sets up underrated gem to close the album, Queen of the Deep. And the great part about Queen of the Deep is that the overall song is amazing from start to finish. But if you're a UFO fan like me, you're waiting for it. You're waiting for the end where it comes in, where you get the right? It's just fabulous. This is a fabulous album. This is in my top 10 favorite albums of all time. Tell me what you think, folks. Did I miss an album here? Did I miss one of the later Schenker albums? How would you arrange these? Thank you so much for watching. Take care. God bless. I love me, my UFO.